Welcome back to Wellness Wednesdays. I'm Sydney.
I'm Christa.
And today we will be talking about coping strategies and specifically coping with stress. So, stress is the body's automatic response to any physical or mental demand placed on it. And in response to stress within the body, adrenaline is a chemical that is naturally released. As for coping with stress is the process by which a person consciously attempts to master, minimize, or tolerate stressors and problems in life.
So some people might raise the question, is stress bad for us? The answer is not always. Some stress in moderate range might actually be beneficial for us because the type of stress can improve our performance by increasing our efficiency. If you do or have any stress in your life, you might have problem with staying productive. Boredom might also be a result for lack of stress. On the other hand, if you have too much stress in your life, your mental health could be negatively impacted as you might struggle with anxiety and even potential depression. Now, what are some factors that can contribute to stress? In other words, what are some common stressors? So this could be different for everyone based on their personal life and priorities. But I have listed stressors for us to understand some typical stressors we might face in our daily lives. So school, family, both romantic and friendly relationships, health and environment, living situations, and also circumstances can all be reason for us to have stress in our life.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Krista. And as for negative effects of stress, there can be both physical and emotional negative effects of stress. So for negative physical effects of stress, that can look like muscle tension, headaches, insomnia, chest pain, and fatigue. As for negative emotional effects of stress, that can include things such as anxiety, restlessness, an overwhelmed feeling, and an irritability, and also sadness. So with knowing all that, I just have a question for you, Krista. What are some examples that you have from your life of coping strategies with stress that maybe are more detrimental or not as helpful to you, but that you have still done?
Oh, yes, for me personally, I would sometimes impulsively spend money purchasing things that I do not need when I sense stress in my life. I would also naturally complain to others around me, which spread negativity. So that's like bad actions. How about you, Sydney?
For me, when I get really stressed, whether it's from school or from just life, I do also impulsively spend money on things, but more than that, I tend to just completely avoid the stress or deny that the stress is even there. I will just procrastinate, and that often looks like me just like binge watching some kind of show. For example, I once watched all 10 seasons of Friends in like a month. So yeah, it's not very helpful for me, but I tend to try and just pretend like it's not there, even though it is.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I have looked at the stress I have faced in my life to come up with some coping strategies that might be beneficial for us. So lowering your expectations is an easy way to bring relief to a stressful situation. When you notice an increase in stress, asking others to help and talk to you could be beneficial in reducing stress. Also, our counseling center can help you. So if you have any questions, please reach out. When you take responsibility for the problem and issues that are causing stress in your life, you might be encouraged and motivated to solve the problem or issues, which can also reduce stress. It is important for us to keep our loved ones close to us during this stressful time. Having someone you trust to talk about stress is one of the most beneficial coping strategies for me when I'm stressed, as I will also like able to talk to them and explain them what are my stressors. Last but not least, taking breaks is crucial for us to maintain a high level of concentration, especially when we are stressed. Doing something that you enjoyed when you are stressed can certainly help you cope with stress. And I have a question for you, Sydney. What are some stressors that you have been experienced during this semester?
Yeah, that's a great question, Krista. So for me, this semester, it's been quite a few stressors. Coming back in person has definitely been one of them because I actually transferred to APU at the start of last year. And so I started APU online. And so coming back this at the start of the semester was my first time ever really getting familiar with campus and navigating myself around there and trying to find friends, and also living on campus for the first time has been something that's really interesting. I'm a junior, but I currently live in the Adams Hall, which is a freshman dorm, because I room with my friend who's an RA. And so that's been really interesting to like have that experience, but it's also been a little bit stressful because it's, living with people who aren't my family. And that's just, yeah, it's been a little stressful. And then also I think just getting used to like the physical and mental demands of actually like seeing people and having to go to class, wake up just that much earlier to be able to make it. And yeah, I think just trying to find friends and interacting with people has been quite stressful this semester. What about you, Krista?
Yeah, totally understand that. For me, is time management, especially with finishing what I've planned, and also grad school applications is the most stressful things for me right now. And also the pandemic, as we are transitioning back on campus to have classes and activities. The last one is the balance to keep between school, work, and internship for me.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely feel that. Yeah, now that we've kind of talked about what stressors we've been experiencing this semester, Krista, what are some more maybe beneficial ways that you have been coping with these stressors this semester?
Yeah, so I think planning ahead of the schedule, taking breaks throughout the day, and simply talking to my friends, roommates, family about the stressors in my life. These strategies are specifically designed for me as I learn to cope with stressors in my life. So if you have other ways to reduce stress in your life to moderate level, you can always use those strategies. How about you, Sydney?
For me, this semester, something that's been really helpful for me to just cope with all the stress and not necessarily, I guess, the stress, but the things that cause the stress. I've started to really make a plan and take each assignment, each thing I have to study for, anything that I have to do, and breaking them down into smaller tasks so that they're more doable, more manageable, and that it doesn't seem as daunting for me to do. Basically, just trying to take things like very small steps at a time. And also, I think just really learning to depend on those around me, knowing that I won't necessarily be a burden to them and that they're there to help me and that I'm also there to help them.
Yeah. So that's it. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.